No matter if points are gained or points are lost, there will be much to discuss. For analysis regarding tonight's Winnipeg Jets game, here are Dave Minuk, Ezra Ginsburg, and your host, Drew Mandel. The Illegal Curve post-game show starts now.
Good evening, Winnipeg. Good evening, Manitoba. For all those joining us live this evening on our YouTube channel and all of our social media platforms, we say good evening, universe, and welcome to the Illegal Curve post-game show. With Dave Minuk, with Ezra Ginsburg, I'm your host, Drew Mandel, here to discuss the Winnipeg Jets victory by a 5-4 margin in overtime deep in the heart of Texas, defeating the Dallas Stars. Gentlemen, certainly a little bit to talk about stemming from tonight's game. You know, anytime you got 9 goals scored, there's obviously going to be something to discuss, but boy, oh boy, are there layers of complexity and layers worth unpacking in tonight's 5-4 overtime victory by the Winnipeg Jets. Good to see both of you gentlemen.
What's up, boys? Glad to have the trifecta back. We were doing a few solo shows there. Dave took a night off and Drew took a night off, but we're back together, as they say. And you're absolutely right. And there could have been easily a few more goals. You remember the giveaway by Jake Ottinger to Scheifele, and then he dropped it, passed it back to Perfetti and made a save. And then obviously there was the Jason Robertson goal where the refs missed the fact that the puck hit the net, and it was an easy reversal when the Jets challenged it. I mean, it's mind-boggling, guys, that, you know, 2 officials and 2 linesmen, 2 referees and 2 linesmen, I should say, missed that. And then the overtime, I mean, the game tying goal in the third period, I'm sure we're going to spend, you know, several minutes on, but even with, you know, the rule book definition, I mean, Hellebuck's mask is off and he's mauled by Jamie Benn. And is there a little bit of a push for Morrissey? Yes. But I mean, any amateur hockey fan will tell you that that goal shouldn't have counted. So it's pretty ridiculous that this game had to go into overtime. But luckily, the Jets have Mr. Sniper Josh Morrissey, who seems to always get it done. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that was just. I gotta say it. I gotta give a lucky guess. It was a lucky guess.
Dave, we got to give the praise where the praise is due. Before overtime started, as he said out to his legion of Twitter followers, "Don't worry, folks," or whatever. I'm paraphrasing. "Don't worry, folks. Josh Morrissey is going to score in overtime, and the Jets are going to win." And you know, all hail.
I'd like to be called genius from now on, guys. I don't want to be called Ez or Ezzy.
No, it's Nostra Ginsburg.
Yeah.
Nostra Ginsburg.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Drew, when you are wrong on 20 consecutive guarantees, you know, you're bound to get the 21st one, right? So
there you go.
I mean, look at Morrissey is just continuing his
Josh Norrisy.
Josh Norrisy. Yeah. I mean, he's just from game one, he has been the Jets' best defenseman, arguably their best player this season, guys, arguably the MVP of this team. I mean, Connor Hellebuck would probably have something to say about that, but we're going to get into the goals, but there's no doubt that this game was pretty crazy because, you know, you had the 4 goals, you know, within a short span in the first period, and then it settled down, and then Lowry scored, and it was a quiet 3-2 game there for a little while. And then basically all hell broke loose in the third period. So it was definitely a pretty exciting game down in Dallas.
It's true, Dave. This was, you know, you sort of got the feeling early on in tonight's game with all the goals in the first period that we'll get into in the Betway game recap. But you sort of got the feeling this was going to be a bit of a wild and woolly night in Dallas, and it certainly was. But it did seem there for, you know, a lot of that third period that it was just going to be sort of a relatively normal ending after a bit of a hectic start to the game. But boy, oh boy, did that turn on a dime late in the third period with the Winnipeg Jets, you know, as they alluded on the broadcast. I've seen people tweeting about it, the Jets give up 2 more goals with the net empty. That's got to be a record. I mean, I don't know, in a week to give up 5 goals when the opposing team's goalie has been pulled, to have that happen 5 times in the span of 3 games.
It's almost as crazy as the Devils having 3 disallowed goals against the Toronto Maple Leafs and their winning streak snapped. You rarely see that, like 3 disallowed goals. Yeah. That has to be, if it's not a record, it's close to record. But you're right, Drew. I mean, it's kind of absurd, actually, that, you know, the Jets have given up 5 goals with the other team's net
5 on
empty.
6. Yeah. I mean, you know, usually you'd think you'd get at least 1 empty net goal in that kind of situation, but the Jets have somehow managed to give up 5 straight 5 on 6 goals.
Should be 4, but We'll get into
should
that
be
in a
four.
bit.
Go ahead,
all I was gonna. No, I was just gonna say you're right. It was one of those bizarre games because it started off kind of at a frenetic pace, and then it slowed down. It was the second was somewhat boring, and all of a sudden, it picked back up to that frenzied pace towards the end of the game. And I mean, look, I don't. First of all, I'm not one to complain about the officiating. If it, I go even. If the officiating stinks on one end, I'll say, hey, they gave the Jets calls, and if it stinks against the Jets, I'll say, well, they didn't give the Jets calls. But I mean, and I was gonna say this was ECHL level officiating, but I didn't want to insult the ECHL because
this was beer league level.
No, I mean, like honestly, I'm sorry, guys. Like you can't. First of all, like, and we're not even talking. Like, think about okay. So there's the critical plays that we're talking about, which is missing a puck that clearly hits. You've got 4 officials on the ice. Your job is to watch the puck. That's it. Like literally, like not
You're
everyone.
close to putting somebody.
I was about to say that there was going to be a word coming out there, Drew, that rhymes with puck.
I'm just saying. So you're paid to watch to see where the puck is, what's going on with the puck. Literally, the linesman's job is to like make sure if the puck goes out of the they're the ones who call that like as his least favorite penalty, delay of game. But you got to be able to pay attention to see where that puck's going. But not only in addition to making critical errors like that, which is clear as day. And that happens. Don't get me wrong, it happens. Like I've watched so many AHL games where officials miss something that happens and play continues. It's not like they are human, right? Even if there are a lot of them on the ice. But the thing
until the robots take over, but
that's true. That's true. Till our robot overlords take over. But all I was gonna say is the crazy thing to me is how many pucks did they get in the way of? Like there was one sequence when the Jets were in the zone. They tried to, I think it was Scheifele in the corner, tried to dump the puck out.
Early in the first period.
And it hits the ref and it keeps the puck in the zone. And I'm just thinking to myself, get out of the way, man. What are you doing? And I think that's just kind of the problem was they were in the way when they shouldn't have been, and they weren't doing their jobs when they should have been. It was a bad night if you were wearing stripes on the ice today.
And the most bothersome part to me, I mean, look, everyone's going to have an off night, and this was certainly an off night. And I'm sort of with you, Dave.
You're having one right now.
Thank you. Exactly. It happens to the best of us, is what I'm saying. I tend to sort of think that bad calls are going to even out over the course of a year, and I try not to get to rip my few remaining hairs out of my head about bad officiating. But this was, to me, I'd want to hear an explanation, a legitimate explanation, not the explanation that was given when they allowed the goal. That to me is not a significant enough explanation.
Because they actually say, Drew, that it was Morrissey pushed Ben into Hellebuyck.
Which is fine. If that is the issue if it's strictly a goaltender interference question, then that's fine.
Exactly.
You've addressed that. If it's goaltender interference and that's it, and Hellebuck's mask stays on, and the Jets are challenging or that's in question, then fine, you've addressed that. But you haven't addressed the real issue, which is the fact that the goalie, that the goalie's helmet was knocked off, and the rule book, which we'll show when we sort of get to that goal later in the show, clearly says that if it's not an immediate play, the whistle
if it's not Ben putting the puck into the net,
yes,
then it should have been blown dead. Like it's one thing if Ben has the puck and he's in the net, the helmet comes off and he deposits that puck into the empty net, that goal stands.
Yeah.
But for Ben to circle behind the net with Hellebuyck down and his helmet off, and still be able to find time to get the puck back to Robertson, who has to then take a shot.
Yeah.
I still think you're leaving it up to interpretation there.
Well, but I mean, the word is immediate. So yes, you're maybe interpreting what the word.
They scored 2 seconds later. Isn't that immediate?
No, it's not. Because
I know what you're saying.
Immediate is the puck. Yeah. The puck is in the blue paint, and he knocks it in. Half a second after the helmet has been knocked off, not with enough time to circle around the net. That once you're circling around the net and passing it out to somebody else, it's no longer an immediate play. That is when it's immediate, when it's almost simultaneous. You can almost use the word simultaneous as a synonym or as the word that you want there instead of immediate, because it's not immediate. How far back are you allowed to pass it? Maybe he doesn't pass it to Robertson, he passes it to the guy who's actually at the blue line who wires it into net. Is that still immediate? Well, none of it was immediate. Immediate is bang bang, helmet off, puck in the net, bang bang. That's immediate. And
it shouldn't have counted either way. I mean, I know what we're saying here, or the rule needs to be rewritten or something. Hellebuck was knocked down by Benn and his helmet was off. It shouldn't be a goal.
I also don't buy. Look, Josh Morrissey. I think you watch the replay again. I watched the times that I was able to watch it. To me, it's not like Benn goes out of his way to avoid Hellebuck, and exactly. Morrissey's impact on Benn. By the way, if you haven't noticed, Jamie Benn's a hell of a lot bigger than Josh Morrissey. So to me, yes, does Morrissey impact Benn? Yeah, but Benn is already trying to hit Hellebuck, I think, before Morrissey even gets there. Or
you could have a good debate, Drew, on whether or not Benn knocked him over or if Morrissey guided him. But you're absolutely right.
To me, Benn knocked him over, and Morrissey, I agree. Morrissey may have guided him, right. But Benn is the one who initiates the contact. So
Ben's also about to run his goalie over, so I don't think Josh Morrissey is just going to sit there and let it happen. That's his man. So again, if it's not goalie interference, the helmet is off, and yes, maybe Jamie Benn wasn't in an immediate situation where he was going to wrap the puck around, but I don't know. I just think, the Jets fans' consensus is definitely that goal shouldn't have counted. But I think most people watching that, regardless if you were a Jets fan, a Stars fan, a Leafs fan, whatever, I think a lot of people were surprised that goal counted.
Yeah. Well, and I think what a complete Muppet is saying, and I think that a lot of people in the chat are saying is accurate. I think that.
Sorry, did you just say complete Muppet?
Well, that's a complete Muppet. That's his or her username.
Oh, okay.
I'm just reading, bro. So, anyways, the point is that. I think it's right. I think it doesn't really make a difference. I think, ultimately you could not say Benn interfered because of Morrissey. It still doesn't change the reality that the helmet was off. And again, like Dallas, Dallas's Ottinger's pad blew off, play was away. Now, of course they have to do it because they blew the whistle, right? Mm-hmm. I'm just saying you blow the whistle in this instance. I'm sorry. Cause again, Benn is behind the net. Hellebuck's down. Again, one ref is watching that play because the puck is right there. So you can't tell me that you're not watching to see what is happening with Connor Hellebuck. And Connor Hellebuck, for the record, looked like he was dead. That was the bigger concern for I would imagine for Jets fans, seeing Connor Hellebuck not moving because seriously, for a few minutes there, he didn't move. Right. And so you're thinking to yourself, did he get whiplash? Did he strain his neck? And then you saw the way his neck stretched based on the hit from Benn. But again, it doesn't even matter about Morrissey, whether Morrissey pushed Benn in, and Benn's a smart player, guys. I don't think that Benn is necessarily, innocent in what he does.
He's intentionally going for Hellebuck there.
Sure, he's trying to create a little chaos. But that, again, it doesn't make a difference because once his helmet is off, and once Benn doesn't have a chance to score because he's behind the net. The ref who's watching has to blow the whistle. It's clear as day. It doesn't make any sense otherwise. So again, we're not scouting the refs here. We could have them on the show maybe tomorrow, and they can give us some more clarity. But regardless, it made for an entertaining hockey game. And we've already been going for 15 minutes, and we haven't even gotten into the Betway game recap. We still got 9 goals to go through, boys. So we may still be talking tomorrow morning if we keep this fired up.
Well, let's do it. It is the Betway game recap. It's brought to you by Betway, one of the most trusted voices in sports betting, both in Canada and all around the world. Betway is the sports betting app that puts you, the customer, at the forefront. With a large selection of betting options in sports, as well as strong promotions and fair odds, what are you waiting for? Head on over to Betway and bet your way. Must be 19 years or older to play. Please play responsibly. So we remember what happened on Wednesday night with the Winnipeg Jets performance in Minnesota. The worst performance of the year, you could arguably call it. It was a very bad game, so I was very interested. I'm sure as many Jets fans were, because the Jets haven't skated since then. They had the morning skate, but they didn't have a practice. They had yesterday off. We saw them all enjoying Jerry's World and the Cowboys' victory over the New York Giants.
Except for Connor Hellebuck, who was bass fishing.
Oh, okay. I missed that entirely, but I know there's plenty of...
It was bass fishing, right, Dave? I think they said
that on the broadcast.
Sawyer said it, yeah.
I missed that part. But in any event, the plenty of Cowboys fans in the Jets locker room and then the Jets PR staff as well. So that they were enjoying their trip to the Thanksgiving Day game. So I was interested in seeing how the Jets were going to come out after that stinkeroo in Minnesota. And we saw it. They came out pretty strong. Cole Perfetti his fourth of the year, his first in, I believe, 11 games, if I'm not mistaken, assist to Blake Wheeler and Nate Schmidt. And this is what you want to see from the Winnipeg Jets. You want to see them get right back into it, get right back to the way that they are dangerous in transition, in speed. And it's great that it comes from a guy like Cole Perfetti, who really struggled in that Minnesota game, hasn't really played overwhelmingly well in the midst of this goal scoring streak, sort of some of those rookie ups and downs that he's been going through. Well, he's on an up today, getting it started at the 132 mark after a beautiful passing play from Schmidt and Wheeler.
Yeah, well, specifically Wheeler, right? Like it's kind of like a partial 3-on-2. The Stars were just kind of slow. The forward group that was out there, I just thought was kind of slow on reacting to the back check. And so it was a kind of a partial 3-on-2, as I mentioned, in the neutral zone. And Wheeler just identifies that Yanni Hakanpää is just, he's overcommitting to the left side. So he makes a really smart pass to Perfetti, because he can see if he makes the right pass, Perfetti is going to go in on a breakaway. And it's just a beautiful move by Perfetti. And I was telling Dave, as we were watching the third period here, I was saying, I just love the fact that Perfetti is just so humble and just so kind of anticlimactic with his celebration. Like he, that's Don Cherry used to always like love when guys did that when they didn't really celebrate that much. But I just love that for a guy that Perfetti, that is obviously going to score a lot of goals in the NHL. He's only 20 years old. So it was just a beautiful move on an excellent goaltender in Jake Ottinger. But love the pass from Wheeler, and I love the move from Perfetti, and I love the fact that he didn't celebrate really hard. He knew that the game was very early. The Jets had a lot of work to do, but we saw Cole Perfetti fail to convert a 2-on-1 chance with Blake Wheeler, but tonight he wasn't going to be denied.
No, it was a beautiful start to the game. I mean, I like the start from Nate Schmidt. Nate Schmidt's first assist on the season, which is sort of hard to believe. I heard that stat. I'm like, really? It's the first assist on the year? That seemed odd to me.
I noticed that
right,
too, Drew. Great minds think alike. I was like, I thought, Schmidt had at least, 5 or 6 assists on the season. Very bizarre.
Think so, more of an offensively inclined guy. You would think he would have had some more points, but he didn't. But it's a nice pass from out of his own zone. To hit Wheeler, and then Wheeler, deserves the bulk of the credit for the play, but I don't want to overlook that it's the first lead pass. The breakout pass is what sort of leads to ultimately Perfetti getting the goal there, Dave.
Yeah, there's no question about it, and you needed Cole Perfetti to contribute. You want him to feel like he's part of it, and that's what we've talked about. Is that, look, he's a young player and he's going to go through ups and downs in his season, but when you have that sort of responsibility of being a top 6 player in the NHL, you can't just be there and be make nice plays occasionally and get praised for that. You have to be a contributor, and you can't just be a passenger. You have to be a driver. And so, Cole Perfetti showed the what he can do when he gets a chance, when he gets some time and space, and he's something like that can give him some confidence. But I agree. Just getting back to the idea of Nate Schmidt only having 1 assist, I was shocked. I actually couldn't believe it, because I was like,
we're 19 games into the season here.
No, and last year he had a great year from a points perspective. So I was shocked to see that Nate Schmidt had, and usually, defensemen pick up assists like nobody's business. So
breakouts,
I was, something. So I know Josh Norrisy is stealing all the points from the back end, although Dylan DeMello, the offensive,
scores goals now, Dave.
Yeah,
Norrisy doesn't get assists anymore.
He decided he doesn't like the assists anymore. But the point is that
his D partner gets all the assists now, DeMello.
Yeah, DeMello. Dylan DeMello, the stash is real, obviously, and that stash is bringing him some serious power with the 2 assists he had tonight. But no, look, I think your point, Drew, was right. Was how are the Jets going to come out? An unusual start time for the game, and obviously not practicing yesterday was an interesting strategy based on how they played, the night before. But that was the right start for the Jets, because of course, you get everybody feeling good just a minute 38 into the game.
Exactly right. A minute 38 into the game. So the Jets are off to that good start, but it doesn't take long. 26 seconds for Dallas to tie the game. Wyatt Johnston, his 5th, the 2021 draft pick of the Dallas Stars, assist to Jamie Benn and Ty Dellandrea. And, Josh Morrissey is up in the neutral zone. He's pinching here. And this is just an instance where I'm not 100% sure who it is that's supposed to be covering for him. It sort of looks like it might be Pierre-Luc Dubois is supposed to be covering for him. And they there's a miscommunication or he's late getting back in the play, and Jamie Benn with the very educated shot pass off the far pad of Hellebuyck, and it ends up on the stick of Wyatt Johnston, who makes no mistake in beating Connor Hellebuyck.
Yeah, you mentioned Morris. Yeah, sorry, that kind of tripped me out a little bit. You moved Dave to the bottom there, but you're right. Josh Morrissey gets
as I did, because I Smell Great said that as he looks like he's dressed up as a fire on my head, so I figured I would just kind of continue the theme and keep you up above me.
Yeah, no worries. You can move.
Stop confusing us, Dave. Stop confusing us with your fancy magic.
All right, I'll move back.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, so one of you talk about this goal.
Can you put me back, Dave, to the top right?
Really?
Put me back to the top right.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Can one of you talk about this goal, please?
Sure. Yeah,
Thank
Wyatt
you.
Johnston scores the goal here. What was it? 25 seconds later, after the Jets open the scoring, and you're right. Josh Morrissey gets caught up, and I don't remember who the forward was back, but it obviously created a 2-on-1 situation, and just a smart play by Jamie Benn puts it on net, knowing that there's a good chance that Wyatt Johnston's going to bury the rebound, and he does.
Yeah, exactly right. He does bury the rebound, and it's a 1-1 game at this point in time. Again, I'm not sure I love Morrissey's pinch in that instance. I'm just not sure what the reward would have been there. But at the same time, if he's pinching, the Jets have to have that communication where somebody needs to be back and covering for him, and that didn't happen on this goal. They've been good about that, for the large part this year. But it's just going to be one of those opportunities just to sort of reinforce. Look, if you got to read what your teammates are doing. You got to see what your teammates are thinking. And in this case, it's this is going to be one where the Jets sort of regret not having that attention to detail when it comes to a pinching defenseman and a forward covering back. But doesn't take long for the Jets to respond. There were a lot of goals in the early going of this game. 5:46 at the 5:46 mark, so it takes the Jets all of 3 minutes and 48 seconds to regain the lead. And this feels good for him, and he deserved it after getting down to the Manitoba Moose and doing a great job playing for the Moose, and earning the call back up. And it's Jansen Harkins, his first of the year, assist to Adam Lowry and Brendan Dillon. And he's not going to be on the scoreboard here, and he's not going to be on the score sheet, but boy, does Mikey Asimont deserve a lot of credit for really his forecheck forcing this play that results in Harkins getting the goal, Dave.
Oh yeah, I don't think the Jets score that goal if he doesn't do that forecheck.
No
and
question.
that's what you get with Mikey Asimont. And that's why, like I said, he's one of the most tenacious guys. He's a puck hound. He goes after it, and he's aggressive. And I it's one thing we talk about it a lot of times with players. It's opportunity, right? And Morgan Barron, it's funny because 4 days ago, Rick Bowness said he was a ways away, and now he's saying he might be playing on Tuesday. I don't know what a ways away means out on the East Coast, but that to me indicated he wasn't going to be ready to play.
It means the same thing as immediate when it comes to the NHL officiating.
Yes, exactly. So, I think, but what we know is that guys need to take this opportunity that they're given. And Esimont, I think everyone would agree, has really done the most he can with the opportunity he's been given from the playing in the NHL in a consistent manner. Because that's the problem with these guys. You get him for one game, and there's just so much pressure. And then you play your second game, you play a couple of games consecutively, and now you start to feel in a rhythm because you feel like, hey, maybe I belong here. Maybe I can show that this is what I do. And I was saying before, like, Esimont, to me, when we talked about him, he said, I signed in Winnipeg for a reason. I've said this on the show before. Mm-hmm. He was calculated. He saw an opportunity for himself to earn a spot. And we've talked about it. Like, he does bring to that third line a tenacity that we said about it. We talked about it 2 shows ago that reminds people of Brandon Tanev. And so I think that what do you need? What do you need on this team is that a guy who's willing to be a puck hound, go in, hard forecheck, force the defense or forward, whoever it is, to defend. And again, look what ends up happening. The puck goes to Lowry, who finds Jansen Harkins. And again, here's another guy who's been given a little bit of a step up in terms of his opportunity. And I've often said with Harkins, I'm not saying he's a first or a second liner, but I think he's more than a fourth liner. And I think he is cerebral and he has good hands. And I think if he's given a little more opportunity as well, he can do something with it. So to me, that line with a guy like Lowry, who again is also cerebral, really works well, that trio. So to me, that's kind of a new one that I think should stick together because I think they really work well together.
I think what was interesting here, Dave, is that Brendan Dillon's at his own blue line. He's in his own zone when he fires that puck up the ice. And at first I thought, to be honest with you, that was going to be called icing. And it obviously hit someone or touched something, because like if you go back and look at the replay, he's clearly in his own zone.
Right.
But Mikey Essiemont's forecheck is the big story here. And it's not your traditional forecheck, because it's not only is it Ryan Suter, but Ryan Suter is just trying to get control of the puck, and it takes a bounce and he's in front of the net, right? So it's not like your typical in the corner or behind the net or whatever forecheck, right? And then obviously a nice little pass by Lowry, and Harkins finishes it off. But there's no doubt that this line was working hard tonight. And I mean, look, Lowry scores the goal, like the go-ahead goal when it was 3-2, right? So I mean, this line really worked together, and it was a little bit of a switch up, right? Because Lowry had been playing with Manalainen and Janssen Fjällby, and then they've been kind of switching those guys, and then Gustafsson, of course, was centering those guys tonight. And I thought those guys were much better. But to Drew's point about how he thought that the Jets were going to react to losing 6-1 to the Wild, I mean, clearly all four lines were better tonight, guys. I just wanted to point one other thing out. On that goal, that line had just come out. And I remember I took note, Scheifele, Wheeler, and Perfetti had a really good shift where they had the puck in the Stars zone. And that's where I think you started to see the tide turn in the Jets' favor. So they were being rewarded, not only that line, but before that, Scheifele's line was out there playing really well. So, yeah, Essiemonts deserves a lot of credit. I mean, just nice to see Harkins get his first of the year up in the NHL. To Dave's point, I mean, he didn't want to be in the AHL, and it's because of injuries that he's back in the NHL. But just good for a guy who's being rewarded for just working hard and kind of doing all those things right, as the cliche goes.
I think that Ryan Suter was surprised. Sorry, Dave.
I'm just going to jump in quickly and say, and the one thing that should be focused on is the advantage of Harkins and Esimont together is they played together with the Moose. It was about, I think, 4 of the 6 games that Harkins was down with the Moose, they played together. So there is a little familiarity of those two recently playing together with the Moose. And so I think they feed off each other well. Sorry, I just want to get that in.
Yeah, but what I was going to say before we move on to the next goal is that I think that Esimont being surprised Ryan Suter. I think Ryan Suter thought he had more time, and then you realizes that Esimont's right there, and Esimont
spun him around.
What's that?
Spun him around.
Yeah, he spun him around.
Suter
with his speed.
fell over.
Yeah.
He was.
I know. He got surprised by the speed,
right?
Yeah, no, and then that speed sometimes is if you don't necessarily have the best hands, or if you don't necessarily have the best shot, but if you have the speed, then you can that's a pretty good skill to have if you're willing to use it in the right ways. 2-1 for the Jets at that point in time. That lead doesn't last long. Again, it takes all of 2 minutes and 41 seconds for the Dallas Stars to get the lead back with Brendan Dillon in the box for tripping. Jamie Benn. Jordy Benn wouldn't get 10 goals. Jamie Benn with his 10th of the year.
He's got a goal for the Leafs, though, this year.
That's true. He does have a goal, but he won't have 10. I can assure you that by season's end.
I'm not going to take that bet.
No, Robertson and Heiskanen with the assist. And what's most interesting to me here is the number of the other forward on the ice for the Winnipeg Jets. David Gustafsson, that makes sense. The other forward on the ice killing the penalty for the Jets, Mark Scheifele. 2 games in a row now, he's been killing penalties.
Yeah, I don't like it. I got to say, I'm not a big fan of that.
I'm not a big fan of it either. 2 games in a row, the Jets have given up a power play goal, not strictly because of Mark Scheifele, not immediately his fault, but that seems to be, to me, a bit like you're trying to hammer a square peg into a round hole in deploying Mark Scheifele on the penalty kill. Because if you're going to deploy somebody, one of your sort of your top line forwards on the penalty kill, why not deploy Kyle Connor, who we saw was so dangerous last year on the penalty kill, Ezzy?
They have a lot of guys that can kill penalties, right? Like we've talked about Axel Janssen Fjällby, he can kill penalties. Adam Lowry's obviously the top dog. Everybody knows how good of a penalty killer he is. We just talked about Jansen Harkins. And, Davis talked about this a lot. Harkins is a guy that can kill penalties. The Jets have no shortage of guys that can. Sam Gagner, another guy. He can play power play, but he can also kill penalties. He's a real skilled forward with that active stick, right? So, look, I don't think we can, beat a dead horse here too much. But, yeah, Scheifele is not a guy that I love out there on the penalty kill. I mean, he's obviously a guy that you depend on for a lot of offense on this team. So, I mean, Rick Bowness, I don't think cares, Drew, that me and you don't like it. But we'll have to see, does Scheifele get any PK time against the Blackhawks? The game against Colorado at home next week. I mean, does this continue? But based on these results, you'd have to think that, this Scheifele experiment on the PK probably isn't going to last long, Dave.
Well,
No, I mean, oh,
sorry,
sorry.
go
I,
ahead. No,
I'm
go
like,
ahead,
is
Dave.
your name Dave? I didn't know your name was Dave, but
You were you were paused. I wasn't sure when you were going to chime in, but go
it's
ahead.
all good. It's all good. I agree. I mean, I will agree with my colleague Ezzy. I don't think that. I think that the idea would be that you want guys who can on the PK who are, a little more defensively responsible. And we know that Mark Scheifele has gotten better, but still, I mean, I look. You sent Jansen Harkins down to the AHL, and he did a shit ton of PK. That's what he was doing, right? And David Gustafsson, I mean, the Moose PK. I'm not trying to turn this into a Nuke Moose Minute, folks, but the Moose PK was a top 5 PK last year, and without David Gustafsson, they're middling. They're middle of the pack this year. And so to me, that's one thing you got to think about is that you got Lowry, you got Gustafsson, you got a guy like Harkins, you got Gagne, you can use, Janssen Fialbi. You've got guys who you can put into that role that you don't need to run again. Like I said, I don't know why you already give Scheifele enough ice time. You don't need to give him more ice time when, like I said, to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't think it makes a lot of sense to throw him on the PK.
Yeah, interesting to note the only forwards who didn't get any PK time at all during today's game. Cole Perfetti, no surprise there. Sam Gagne didn't get any. Jansen Harkins and Mikey Asimont didn't get any PK time, which to me is interesting because Harkins and Asimont seem like guys that might be able to do something on the PK, especially with the speed that they could bring to the table, maybe force the opposition to into some poor plays. In any event, 2-2 after a very entertaining 40 minutes, 20 minutes in Dallas. So it was only 20 minutes that you got the 4 goals in. Adam Lowry opens the scoring for the Jets at the 8:04 mark of the second period. His 4th of the year assist to Axel Janssen Fialbi and Dylan DeMello. And it's a shot from DeMello, or a shot/pass from DeMello, and a tip by Axel Janssen Fialbi, and Adam Lowry's there, sort of turn and fire, and I don't know if it's a deliberate tip by Janssen Fialbi or if it's a fortuitous tip by Janssen Fialbi, but in any event, Adam Lowry did what he needed to do in depositing it behind in the Stars.
Jake Ottinger.
Behind Jake Ottinger. Yeah, thank you, Ezzy. Put it behind Jake Ottinger, and really looked like for a long while, it looked like that might even be the game-winning goal. We ultimately know it wasn't there, Ez.
Yeah, absolutely. It's tough to really know if that was a set play or not a set play, but if that was on purpose. I was saying to Dave, like Janssen Fialbi, whether that was on purpose or not, I think he was trying to tip the puck, get the stick on the puck to hopefully cause a rebound. It just so happened that it went right to Lowry, who made no mistake about it. And we talked about some guys that are going through some goal scoring droughts, namely Perfetti. Lowry's another guy. I forget how many games, guys, it's been that Lowry has scored a goal. It's been a few games. 7, Dave? I think if I can count correctly. I don't have a concussion, so I think I can count correctly. But yeah, just a really nice goal. And that line, even though the line was Lowry, Harkins, and Esimont tonight, it wasn't the exact line. But the bottom 6 comes through big time again tonight. And we saw that on the homestand. We unfortunately didn't see that a lot in the Minnesota game or the Pittsburgh game. But when the Jets are playing well, guys, that's like we've talked about it. The Jets have to get goals from all lines. You can't always get the goals from Scheifele and Connor, or this year Morrissey, right? So you really like that goal. And it's nice to see Dylan DeMello, aka the Stash, get a couple assists in his first game back.
Yeah, and he does. And he gets a second assist of the game, his 4th of the season, on the Kyle Connor goal. So it was 3-2 for the Jets after 40 minutes. And then, nothing is happening in the third period for a lot of it. And then Kyle Connor sort of, before we can talk about the Kyle Connor goal, we have to talk about the Connor Hellebuyck save, which is sort of getting overshadowed in everything that happened towards the end of the game. But I mean, that was just such a fantastic save.
On Seguin, you're talking about.
Yes, where he, I looked and I was like, okay, well, that's a goal, 3-3. And I'm like, how is it not a goal? What happened? Like, was there a force field that came, in front of the net to prevent it? No, it wasn't a force field. It was just the force of Connor Hellebuyck and his paddle to make just a most unbelievable save. I mean, the kind of save that, you have to just have the superior instincts to make a save like that. I mean, it's a combination of skill and a little bit of luck, but also just knowing, sort of having that sixth sense of where you need to go with eyes in the back of your head to make that kind of save, Dave. I mean, it was just a remarkable save by Connor Hellebuyck that really nobody is going to talk about because of everything that happened sort of after that.
Well, I mean, they may not, Drew, because it might be overshadowed by the game, but they'll definitely show that on the highlights of the night because that was a robbery. I mean, it was. I agree with you. I thought for sure it was a goal. I mean, you're like, that's the one you're like, okay, I got to see that replay again. Okay, I got to see that replay again. How did he make that save? And you're right, that was instinctual. I mean, he just knew to get it, and it's not like it was a scrub. You know, it was Tyler Seguin who knows how to put the puck into the net, and Connor Hellebuck made a phenomenal save. That you're right. Was a significant one in that moment.
Yeah, a hugely significant one because it seemed like the Jets were going to win in regulation, especially after Kyle Connor made it 4-2, his 7th of the year, assist to Dubois and DeMello. Those guys reunited in tonight's game after a bit of some line juggling by Rick Bowness. But, you know, again, Kyle Connor, you see it. You saw some great goal scorers do their thing in tonight's game, and Kyle Connor wanted to get in on the action, and he did make it 4-2. With less than 10 minutes to go in the game, as he.
Yeah, and it was just a nice stretch pass. We talked about DeMello had an assist on the previous goal, putting it on net with Fjallby tipping it to Lowry, and yeah, like let's focus here on how sweet of a pass this is from Dubois to Connor, and obviously Connor is finally caught fire after really struggling to score goals earlier this season. But yeah, that was the insurance goal, right? And you thought, okay, now the Jets are going to lock this down. And then we know what happened late in the third period with the 2 goals with the empty net. But love the pass from Dubois. I thought Dubois had a pretty quiet game, to be honest with you. But yeah, he just, nice hands. And, I would expect this line to stay together in the short term. Like we talked about it, like I don't think anybody necessarily saw, Scheifele and Wheeler together, but Scheifele and Perfetti, I'm going on a little bit of a tangent here, but, Scheifele and Perfetti, you can see that, they've got some chemistry together. But yeah, that was a beauty goal from Connor and a great helper from Dubois.
It certainly was 4-2 at that point in time. There's,
by the way, that just so you know, that at that point for Kyle Connor tied him for 7th all time on the franchise points list with Nikolai Ehlers.
Well, he's gonna surpass Nikolai Ehlers maybe as soon as Sunday in Chicago, but he's gonna surpass Nikolai Ehlers with Ehlers, of course, out of the lineup for certainly the month of December, and we'll see about how much into January. Time will tell on that front. 4-2 for the Jets, and then the Dallas Stars. Obviously, they're going to have to pull the goalie to try and get back into the game, and they do. And at the
6-on-5.
6-on-5 is the Winnipeg Jets bugaboo, apparently. With the goalie pulled, with Ottinger on the bench, Jason Robertson, his 17th of the year. Is that possible already? Man, is Jason Robertson a hell of a hockey player? Even I know
he's got 17 goals and Nate Schmidt's got 1 assist.
Well, it's just like 17 goals already, 17 goals in 21 games.
Yeah.
He's going to be, I know he's good, but I mean, he is really damn good.
Yes.
But Drew, when they announced 7
in the league, good.
When they announced 17, I looked at it and go, he's already got 17 goals.
Yeah.
Like, remember, he missed training camp because he had a contract dispute. So I mean, like, he missed training camp, which shows you the value of training camp. And let me tell you something, 17 goals is insane.
Yeah, it is insane. And he got 18 tonight too, as we discussed. But the 17th one comes assist to Heiskanen and Seguin. And look, it's traffic in front of the net with the goalie pulled and a bit of a seeing-eyed shot and a nice, just a nice execution by the Dallas Stars in what you need to do to try and get back into a game and equalize when you have the man advantage with the goalie pulled there, as he.
Yeah, and the craziest thing is, I'm just looking at the replay here. You see Nate Schmidt come out of the box right before Jason Robertson shoots it from the point, right?
Right.
So, just unfortunate timing. But as you mentioned, the Stars had a lot of pressure. They were moving the puck. They had traffic in front of Connor Hellebuck.
That's also a factor, though. You mentioned that Schmidt coming out of the box, which means the Jets have they're in an unusual position having 3 defensemen on the ice, and you're trying to defend 6-on-5. And
he was out of the play, though, right? Like, I mean,
I know he was just getting back in the play.
A non-factor, but you're right. Yeah,
but
it's not something that you see a lot.
Assignments might be a little bit confused as to who's got who in that situation, because it's sort of like you said, it's just as the penalty ends, so it's all a 6-on-4 is turning into a 6-on-5 there. And
can we also talk about sorry to cut you off, can we also talk about Drew the hats being thrown out when he didn't have a hat trick?
That's
kind of weird.
Odd.
Like, I realized the goal was disallowed, like we talked about it, the goal with the hitting the net and going out of play, but
Yeah.
like throwing and also Hellebuck was on the ice. And I agree with Dave. He looked like he was dead. And people are throwing hats on the ice.
And the music,
and it wasn't a hat trick. Like, what's going on?
Things are weird in Dallas. Things are weird in that.
No furries though. I was hoping the furries would be out at Drew.
Our friends the furries. Yeah, we haven't
Yes.
seen our friends the furries who used to tweet at us.
I
that
think
like
they're
the-
hibernating, Dave.
2012 was that like I think it was like a decade ago.
It probably was. It was very early on, since when the Jets came back, that there were a couple furries, and they were very nice people, as far as we know, based on our Twitter interactions with them.
Yeah,
they dress up in.
No, the furries are good people. We're friends with the furries.
Yeah, they dress up in furry outfits and go to the Dallas Stars games. And
by the way,
great.
I'm not completely sure that anybody watching or listening knows what we're talking about right now.
Hey, if they're early,
explain what furries are.
No,
I actually don't think we should actually.
Yeah, if they want to do this is a family show, as if they want to Google furries, that's their business.
Well, no, I don't think it's a sexual fetish thing, Drew.
It is, Ezzy. That's exactly what it is. 100% is what it is. Yes,
that's exactly what it is.
I'm pretty sure they're just dressing as like. I thought
that's the way, Ezzy. You're a furry, but that's not what they are.
No. But I thought these were just people that dressed up in costumes.
No.
Oh, it is a sexual fetish thing.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Definitely a sexual fetish.
He's a big dumb animal, folks.
But he's our big dumb animal. Then Jason Robertson with 20 seconds to go in the game. And I mean, we've talked about this.
Good segue from the sexual fetish, by the way.
Well, as he Robertson, his 18th assist to Sagan and Pavelski. And we've talked about this throughout the course of the first 42 minutes of this post-game show. We're still not sure how this goal was allowed. In fact, we'll read you the quotes about how it was allowed after the commercial break, so that you'll hear from Josh Morrissey, you'll hear what Rick Bowness had to say. The Jets are, certainly perplexed as how this goal ended up counting, but it did, and it gave the Dallas Stars what some would say, and me being among them, maybe an undeserving opportunity for 2 points by sending the game to overtime. And of course, they do get that 1 point just for sending it to the extra time, where Josh Morrissey, as he gave him the boost that he needed.
I don't have to give Morrissey anything. He's playing so well that I just got that feeling, because Morrissey was involved with Jamie Benn on the tying goal. I just, sometimes again, you get 20 predictions wrong. Sometimes you get the 21st prediction right.
Yeah. You got the 21st prediction right here. Josh Morrissey, his 4th of the year from Blake Wheeler. I believe that's his 2nd overtime winner, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
And it's a great play by Wheeler to sort of muscle Heiskanen off the puck and then find Morrissey. And Morrissey, really, streaking into the zone. And I believe he beats Robertson, if I'm not mistaken.
It was Jason Robertson.
Yeah. So Robertson's back trying to defend, and Josh Morrissey just beats him and then just fires the puck past Ottinger in tight. And the Jets get a much needed 2 points, given the way that this game devolved in the final 2 minutes. And similar, I'll give this Jets team credit for their stick-to-itiveness. They could have wilted after they gave up those 3 goals to Carolina. They win in overtime. Could have wilted after they give up the 2 goals to Dallas. Well, they win in overtime. Sure, you'd rather it be clean wins, and maybe, it's going to come back and maybe hurt them that they don't have as many, regulation wins as they do regulation and overtime wins. But there's a long way off for that, and instead they get the 2 points ultimately that they did deserve in tonight's contest, gentlemen.
Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
No, I just want to say, it really is amazing to me, though, what we're seeing with Josh Morrissey. And we knew, defensively last year that he, really upped his game and he took it to another level. But, interesting, the comments from Rick Bowness, the challenge that he talked about in the summer about, I want to see your name in that top 10 of the Norris, voting this year. Well, I think it's probably most likely to be in top 5 right now because he's playing.
Voting right now.
If you're voting right now, he's top 5. I mean, look, guys, Josh Morrissey is the first Jets player to hit 20 points on the season, right? 4 goals, 16 assists. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, he's got 20 points in, what is this? This was game 19.
Yep.
And you're looking at a guy who had a career high last year of 37. Well, he's on pace to obliterate that. And even if he slows down somewhat, I mean, he is having a season that's just remarkable. And he's turning into the, it's interesting because he wasn't like a super offensive guy in junior as he did. We have the comment up, someone who watched him back in PA, and he had one.
Shout out
really,
to Prince Albert.
Exactly. And he had
Is that
one
another
real-
sexual comment? Or are you talking about the site?
I knew Drew was going to go there. I'm like, there's no, I'm going to keep trying to go quickly because I don't want to give Drew 1 second to try and like deviate. But of course, I'm sorry, folks. I should have known.
You're a disgrace to the town of Prince Albert, Drew.
All I can say is if anybody remembers John Albert, AKA, what was his nickname?
Prince.
Pure Energy.
No, Pure Energy, coined by yours truly. Then the point is, but poor John Albert.
It was no GST line, but
it was not a GST. That's true. But the reality was that his name was always made fun of, and now Drew, of course, has to jump in there. But anyways, the point is that Morrissey had an offensive bend in junior, not a crazy one. He had one really tremendous season, and you're now seeing a guy who defensively is able to do what he's doing, but also offensively he's producing. And again, that's one of the things this Jets club has needed. And one of the things that, Rick Bowness said at the beginning of the season was he needed production from his back end. And now that's what he's getting from Josh Morrissey, who's leading the way. And it really is churning this team. Again, you don't want to see Dallas get any points. You obviously want a clean win. You'd rather beat them in regulation, but it's more important than, to get the points. And look, Thanksgiving was yesterday, right? And where are the Jets right now? They're comfortably, well, not relatively, they're relatively comfortably in a playoff spot. And that's where you need it to be. And it doesn't guarantee your success, but it's usually a pretty good sign that you're and again, a lot of people around the NHL now are talking, are the Jets for real? Who are these Jets? So funny, right? Like everybody is like, the Jets, last year, Jets are winning the Stanley Cup. They don't win the Stanley Cup. Jets are running it back. The Jets stink. Now the Jets are suddenly, are they back? It's like, I can't handle it.
Well, before we wrap up the Betway game recap, only one defenseman. Here's a stat that we'll go out on before we come back with the unique code word, and we'll read some comments post-game as well. This is courtesy of the NHL PR Twitter account. Only one defenseman in Jets/Thrashers history has more game-winning goals in a single season than the 3 that Josh Morrissey has so far this year. That's Dustin Byfuglien with 6 in 2015-16 and 6 in 2010-11. So Josh Morrissey quickly moving his name into some heady company as it pertains to game-winning goals for the Jets and Thrashers organization. That is the Betway game recap. It is brought to you, of course, by our friends at Betway. It's simple, fun, and safe to bet with Betway. So head on over to Betway and bet your way. Must be 19 years or older to play. Please play responsibly. When we come back, the unique code of the day, the Tough Duck hardest hitting comment, and we'll read some of the post-game comments from both Josh Morrissey and Rick Bowness about the controversial end to tonight's game. Jets victorious 5-4 in overtime in Dallas. It's the Illegal Curve post-game show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on our YouTube channel and all of our social media platforms.
Jerry Seinfeld, Chris Rock, Jon Stewart, Dennis Miller, Brad Garrett, the biggest acts and all the up-and-comers. They've all made their mark at Rumors Comedy Club, North America's longest-running independent comedy club. Rumors has kept Winnipeg laughing for over 25 years. When was the last time you laughed out loud? Make it a great night out with friends or book your office or birthday party, even a fundraising event at Rumors. Get all the details and dates on upcoming shows at rumorscomedyclub.com.
He winds up. Oh, looks like Ezzy took that one right in the choppers.
A blistering fast puck hurts like HE double hockey sticks. That's why I let the pros at Linden Market Dental Center turn my yow into
wow.
Get your brilliant smile back with state-of-the-art restorative and cosmetic dentistry from real pros.
And remember, always wear a mouth guard.
Now that's solid on ice advice. Learn more at lindenmarketdentalcenter.com. Creating smiles for life.
Whoa, Ezzy, everything okay? You look stressed.
Of course I'm stressed. We're moving, the house is upside down, the kids failed miserably at packing the fine china, and my life is in chaos. Chaos!
Yes, that does sound like a problem.
What am I going to do?
Ezzy, relax. Rolly's Transfer Moving and Storage is the answer. With 60 years of experience in moving Manitobans and a track record of exemplary customer service, one call to Rolly's and your stress is gone. No job is too big or too small. Just visit Rollies.com and they will take it from there.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you, Rollies Transfer Moving and Storage, online at Rollies.com.
Dave, my man, why are you in the car already? It's hours until game time.
Drew, it's because I'm stressed out right now, driving around downtown Winnipeg, looking for a parking spot, and I'm not finding one. I've lost Ginsburg. I don't even know where that guy is right now.
Dave, haven't I taught you anything? Do what I do. Pre-book your entire month's worth of game day parking with the Grid Park app. It's super easy to use and saves me both time and stress.
Well, Drew, I'm not independently wealthy like you are. So I'm sorry that I don't have millions of dollars to pre-book my parking month in advance. What's that going to cost you? $25?
How about $5?
Come on, $5? No way.
$5. I'm not telling you a lie. And our listeners can get a free park with the new special promo code Illegal Curve. Guess what? There's more.
Come on, there's more, Drew. You're lying to me. What more could there be?
Grid Park now has underground parking, so my car can stay warm during the game.
So wait a second. All the driving around I do, looking for parking, minus 40. You're telling me I could be toasty warm in a car after the hockey game?
That's exactly what I'm telling you. Underground parking. Just download the Grid Park app. That's GRYD Park and use the code Illegal Curve. All one word. You'll park for free your first time.
Hi, it's Drew from Illegal Curve here. Selling your home can be stressful, but it wasn't for me. Thanks to my friends at Zappia Group Realty, they made the process so easy. My home sold within 48 hours and with multiple offers. Zappia Group Realty took care of everything with their exquisite customer service and attention to detail. If you want to sell your home for more in less time, get started by talking to Frank and Mauro Zappia of Zappia Group Realty. Online at zappiagroup.com.
For 3 generations and over 80 years, Tough Duck has been making apparel that works and plays as hard as the people who wear it. From jackets to work boots and everything in between, Tough Duck's clothing can handle the harshest environments, even the Illegal Curve hockey show. Work to live, live to play. Visit toughduck.com. Just before the bottom of the hour, it is the Illegal Curve post-game show. We're back here on our YouTube channel and all of our social media platforms. The Winnipeg Jets victorious 5-4 in Dallas. They bounced back well after the embarrassing defeat in Minnesota on Wednesday. They're next in action on Sunday. The Jets are in Chicago facing the Blackhawks before they come home to face the Colorado Avalanche on Tuesday to wrap up this 4-game trip through the Central Division. So far 1-1 with a couple games left on the schedule. Let's read some of the comments. This is courtesy of Josh Morrissey regarding the goal that was allowed to stand. That was the tying goal for the Dallas Stars. Quote, obviously I hit Ben and as a result he goes into Bucky, Connor Hellebuck, but I don't see a reality where the goalie can have no helmet on and a goal be allowed 3 seconds after. More from Josh Morrissey. I just don't see how that's for player safety. He's lying on the ice without a helmet on in front of the net. If he takes a shot off the face, that's an extremely dangerous situation. So it's pretty cut and dry to me. Rick Bowness, Winnipeg Jets head coach, notes that the officials blew the play dead earlier in the game as soon as Jake Ottinger lost his pad, and that occurred with play nowhere near his crease going the other direction. He's befuddled at how Hellebuck lost his mask, was down and out, and the play continued. NHL Rick Bowness says that Winnipeg Jets general manager Kevin Shovel-Dayoff is currently dealing with the NHL on what the Jets felt was the blown call on the tying goal. Bowness feels that the maskless Connor Hellebuck was in danger. Play should have been stopped. Quote, Chevy's on it, so I'm as confused as anybody. I gotta be careful what I say. So there's some of the feedback, some of the comments coming from the Winnipeg Jets. If you want to see something actually interesting, go check out our friend Garrett Hole's Twitter account at Garrett Hole, H-O-H-L on Twitter. He's retweeting comments from around the league of observers who watched that goal happen and find it to be a completely inexplicable decision by the NHL.
That's what I said earlier, right? Like I said, obviously Jets fans are going to think that's a disallowed goal. Just like any team's fans will think a goal like that's disallowed. But to me, this isn't about Jets fans or, people that cover the team. Any hockey fan seeing that goal, I mean, let's be honest. I'm sure a lot of Stars fans are like, really? That goal was allowed? That was and it's a good point that was raised. I think it was Morrissey that brought it up. Drew, when you read that, or I forget if it was the comment that you read from Morrissey or Bonus about Ottinger's pad. Like, first
Yeah.
off, you rarely see a goalie's pad. Like, it was almost
Yeah.
like, when we were kids playing street hockey, when you changed the Road Warriors, right, Dave? I know what Dave M liked some street hockey in the North End when he was young. But yeah, I mean, that just should have been a disallowed goal. I mean, and I'm not surprised by the comments. So, and Garrett Hole retweeting people. It's still, again, the Jets won, so I think we're going to probably talk about it less as opposed to if the Jets lost that game. But it's just still bizarre that was allowed to stand.
You're right. It is bizarre. Here's another one from Rick Bonus about Josh Morrissey scoring 2 breakaway OT winners in the past 5 days after opponents had scored a combined 5 goals without the goalie in their net. Quote, "Oh my God, you've got to love him. Did you see him skating there at the end? He was flat out flying." So the Winnipeg Jets head coach Rick Bonus, moving off of the goal that was controversially allowed, and then ending on the exquisite play from Jets defenseman, maybe hybrid defenseman now. I'm not really sure. Maybe he's more of a midfielder in this World Cup parlance going on right now. Talking about Josh Morrissey and his propensity for OT winners so far this year, and so far this week, in addition to so far this year. We want to remind people that the Illegal Curve Hockey Show will be starting in 9 hours and 30 minutes, 9 a.m. tomorrow, back here on our YouTube channel, bright and early 9 a.m. Make sure you set your alarm to join us. Murad Atesh is going to join us, and Charlie Ramuli Otis from NBC Sports Chicago is going to join us to just break that. We'll talk with Murad about tonight's game and the Jets road trip and everything, and we'll talk to Charlie about the Chicago Blackhawks ahead of the Jets visit there on Sunday as they continue this road trip. Let's talk about the Illegal Curve unique code word of the day. This is for the Illegal Curve.
Step up my game today, boys. Stepped up my game.
Well, after you went with the so predictable Minnesota.
Oh, I heard you guys. Trust me, I wasn't on the show, but I listened to you guys rip
the
me.
Unique words for sure going to be Lone Star.
No. I'll give Dave credit. He actually went with something a little bit more unique than the previous.
Well, I went with something apropos based on A, where they were, and B, what the Jets did yesterday.
That's perfectly reasonable. And the unique code for the IC contest is "How about them Cowboys?"
It's actually 4 words.
Well, it's all one word. There's no spaces. So "How about them Cowboys" is the unique code for the Illegal Curve contest. Enter that code into the contest page, and you'll get some bonus entries.
15 to be precise. Or 10, I can't remember.
Entries.
10, I think it's 10 actually.
10, I think, is what Alan said in the chat earlier.
Yeah, it was 10.
Get 10 bonus entries.
Sound like the referees making this up as you go along, Dave.
We're more legitimate than the officiating. So how about them Cowboys? If you're wondering how do you enter the contest, well, you go to our the show description on YouTube, and you follow the contest link that's right there. It's in the show description. You can't miss it. If you can't find it there, you go to our website, illegalcurve.com. It's in basically every post that we have on the website. You'll find the link. Click the link. You'll see all the different tasks that you can do to gain and generate more entries for an opportunity to win some great merchandise like the following person did, courtesy of the random draw. Dave, who's the big winner?
Lonnie Denbo.
Lonnie Denbo.
Yeah. And I saw I saw Brad, who won the last one, I think, or 2 shows ago. He was in the chat. So, I mean, you got to be in the chat to you don't have to be in the chat to win, but it's always nicer when the winners are actually with us and get to celebrate. But oftentimes people will message me after and say, well, I didn't see it live, but it was great to see my name up there and stuff like that. So Alan's got 245 entries. Don't worry, Alan. See, you're worried about it, but this is only game 19. We've got 82 games of the season. There's plenty of chances to win. Even once November ends, guess what? We start the December contest, and there's a lot of games in December, so you're gonna have lots of chances to win.
Dave, I'm worried that you're gonna run out of unique code words because you can't duplicate a word. It has to be unique.
Well, I won't have to worry about Dallas anymore because this was the end of the season series against Dallas, so Dallas is done. I don't have to come up with anything Texas themed anymore.
Deep dish.
What's that?
Deep dish.
Deep dish. Ooh, that'd be good. But the point is, I will have to. You're right, Ezzy.
No. I'm just saying, Dave. I want deep dish right now.
Okay, fair enough.
It's just
fair
a complete. It's a complete
Yeah, it
non
had nothing to do
sequitur.
with the, it had nothing to do with the
Oh,
unique
okay.
code word. I just want pizza. Give me pizza.
Okay.
Fair enough.
He's just like the Saturday Night Live skit where he doesn't have an internal monologue. He just says the words that come to mind. Do you remember who the guest star was when that skit happened? There's a trivia question for you guys.
Nicolas Cage.
No.
Was I close?
No, not
Madonna.
even close.
Madonna.
No, it wasn't. It's
like John Candy. I don't know. Like, is it like some old
It
school
was
one?
Wayne Gretzky.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
Wayne Gretzky was the guest host, I believe, on the episode where they did the skit. Where I think it was actually him who had no internal monologue. He just would say whatever he was doing.
Yeah, I kind of remember now what you're saying.
Was he was with the Kings at that point, right?
Yes, he wouldn't have been with. It was after the trade from Edmonton to Los Angeles.
And then people in California realize that hockey exists.
Basically what happened there for a while. Yes. So yes, I believe it was Wayne Gretzky. If I'm wrong, somebody will certainly correct me and probably
Do we have an SNL historian? No, they're not going to do that. You know what skit I loved with Nicolas Cage, or I forget it, even if it was Nicolas Cage, but do you guys remember the Tiny Elvis skit? There was like a little tiny Elvis that anyways, okay.
Vaguely, but not a lot. So maybe do some research on that one, and we can bring it up on a later date. But in any event, congratulations to Lonnie Denbo, tonight's winner of the merchandise contest, and we'll do another one for the month of November on Sunday. So be sure to enter the contest. The unique code word: "How about them Cowboys?" All caps. All one word, and it's how about. Some emphasis on the about, not just how about. It's how about.
Is it them or dem?
It's them. THEM.
I thought it was how about dem Cowboys.
No, it's not. Some people might have put in how about them Cowboys, and not. I can understand why they would make that error, but it is how about them Cowboys. The unique code word, and congratulations to Lonnie Denbo, or Denbo, either way. Ezzy. Tough Duck hardest hitting comment because, like I said, I'm ready for bed and the other show starts in like 9 hours.
Yeah, I got to thank everybody. We have, at one point, we had over 350 people watching here. So thanks for all the great comments. We're going to give it to Gordy Angus here. I haven't seen that name. So I apologize, Gordy, if you have watched or listened before. But I like this comment here. Apart from the refs being absolutely horrendous, I'm very concerned about the power play, 55 killing penalties, and most of the empty net goals coming from the point. We talked about Scheifele on the PK. None of us really like it. So I didn't pick this comment just because Gordy's agreeing with us here. But I liked the comment in general. The officiating was pretty bad tonight. And yeah, you have to be concerned with, as Drew mentioned, half an hour ago or so, 5 goals have been scored against the Jets when they've been leading and the other team has the empty net. And both games they've won in overtime, but you don't like to see that. So, that's definitely something that I think the Jets coaching staff is going to address. I don't necessarily know how you address that. Like, guys, don't give up goals when you're up by 2, right? But anyways, Gordy, send me an email, Ezra@illegalcurve.com, EZRA@illegalcurve.com, or you can slide into my DMs. A few people were sliding into my DMs on Twitter @ICSEG. So, Gordy, thanks for the comment, and Tough Duck will ship out a toque to you sometime next week.
There you go. Congratulations to Gordy for winning tonight's Tough Duck hardest hitting comment. Big thanks to everybody for joining us here on the Illegal Curve post-game show. Like I said, we'll be back at it 9 a.m. tomorrow with the Illegal Curve hockey show, and then back at it again on Sunday evening. I think what's Sunday? A 6 o'clock start time? So post-game show, I think 8:45 or so back here on our YouTube channel. Before we go, I want to say a big thank you to all the sponsors of Illegal Curve who make the post-game show, the Saturday show, and the website a possibility. Our friends at Rumors Restaurant and Comedy Club, Linden Market Dental Center, Zappia Group Realty, Betway, Tough Duck, Boston Pizza, Seagram's, Rolly's Transfer, Grid Park, and The Keg support these fine businesses because of their continued support of Illegal Curve hockey. If you have a business, or you know of a business, or you're affiliated with a business that you think should be a sponsor of this here fine show, well, let us know. Send one of us an email, send all of us an email, slide into the Illegal Curve DM box, slide into our personal DM box, whatever it might be. We'll be glad to put our people in touch with your people, or the
we have people.
No, we have no people.
Yes, we do have people, and one of them is, I saw Greg Liverpool is in the chat, the GF Liverpool. anybody who used to follow Illegal Curve or any of the other shows on TSN 1290 knows that Greg was a loyal TSN 1290 listener. We also got to know him quite a bit over the years. So it's good to see the GF Liverpool watching the show tonight.
And for the record, just because Drew's not going to say it, folks, I know folks are clamoring for Manuk Moose Minute because the Moose played today. I know. Well, but Drew, it'd be nice if you told people.
People are clamoring, though.
I mean, T. Conopoli, for God's sake, Tyrell Bauer got into a fight. If that's not like enough to give T. Conopoli what he needs.
What about a detailed breakdown of Brad Lambert's failed Michigan?
Well, I mean, that's the other thing, Izzy. That's another thing that I think people need to hear. But hey, we'll wait. It's late. It's already 11:40. I didn't realize it was 11:40.
Yeah.
You know, people are switching over to Kenny and Rennie. We get that. The post game show has begun. So I just wanted people to know that we're not forgetting about the Manuk Moose Minute. We're just going to hold it off till tomorrow.
Very nice.
T. Conopoli knows what I'm talking about.
You know how to give the Manuk Moose Minute. You don't know how to hold the Manuk Moose Minute.
Exactly, Ezzy.
There we have it. That's it for tonight. Big thank you to everybody for joining us who've been watching live. Big thanks to everybody who joined us in the chat. And a big thank you to, of course, to everybody who will either watch it later on the replay on YouTube or the podcast edition. Smash the like button if you haven't already done so. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the podcast. Leave us comments, particularly on the podcast page.
You get points for that now, Drew, by the way.
There you go.
If you just a quick thing, if you go and leave a comment on our iTunes,
yes,
or Spotify, but I think it's iTunes specifically, go into the contest thing. If you click on it, just saying 15 bonus points, 15 bonus entries if you leave a comment. And if you leave a nice comment, I might give you more.
There you go.
Do we give extra points for people shoveling my sidewalk?
No, that's not how that works. But good luck with that, Ezzy.
What about installing front steps? I currently don't have front steps.
It's okay. Nobody needs to go. It's fine. You can just jump. Just have people leap down from the landing, into the dirt. They'll be fine. Big thank you to everybody. We appreciate you joining us. We'll be back again in 9 hours and 18 minutes with the Illegal Curve Hockey Show. For Ezra Ginsburg, for Dave Manuk, I'm your host, Drew Mandel. Until tomorrow at 9 a.m., we wish you good night and good luck. And thanks for watching the Illegal Curve postgame show.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to this broadcast from Illegal Curve Hockey. For more great Illegal Curve content, subscribe to the Illegal Curve YouTube channel, follow @Illegal Curve on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and visit your online home for hockey in Winnipeg, illegalcurve.com.